Hi, welcome to Ray's Toolbox. Today we're going to put up an accent wall. I'm going to take the drywall off. I'm going to actually install a fireplace up above right here. That link will be at the end of the video. But I'm going to take the drywall off and go back with car siding. So I want to show you how easy it is to put that back on. To take the drywall off and to do this right, first I have to take the trim off from around the door. I'm going to take the switch plates off, and there's one receptacle that I'm going to have to deal with here. So I'm going to take the trim off first, and then we'll take the drywall off. We'll get into the studs and we can see exactly what we need to do. Alright, I have the drywall off. I'm going to redo these studs so I can get the fireplace insert on, and then we'll start back with the car siding. I'll show you how that goes on.
One trick that I like, instead of having a square butt joint like this, you can see the crack is there. Sometimes it just shows up a little bit worse than what it could. My personal preference is I'll cut a 45 on both sides, and that way when you put them together, they're going to match up a lot better. It's going to hide that crack that you have there. So you're still going to see it, of course, but when you look at it dead on, you're not going to see all the way through it. You see the next piece on the bottom when you're looking into the crack. So that's my personal preference. Take it for what it's worth, give it a try, and I'll keep going.
So if you're not familiar with car siding, it has a tongue and groove feature to it. It has a groove on the bottom, a tongue on the top, and it simply fits in this way, and that's how she goes across the wall. So that's what we do. This piece here is stained. It's from an older project. For my corner, I have a unique situation here. I'm going to, first of all, I cut off the bottom groove for the bottom piece, so this piece will set right on the ground here. I have a slight angle on this little piece here, so I do have a small angle here cut. So how this will work, this piece will actually fit back behind, and then this piece is going to butt up next to it. I haven't decided yet. I'll probably take a flat piece of lath or some sort of quarter round or half round and cover the seam up. We'll just see how it works, what it looks like when we get finished. We have different options. So I'm going to cut a few more of these pieces here, and then I'm going to stain them. We're going to stain with a early American for this project. Okay, here we go. I stained my pieces as I got them cut with the early American stain and fastened them on the wall as I went. I figured out the angle on the wall is 20 degrees, so that's what I set the table saw at, and it matched up pretty good after I got going. I decided to go with wooden switch plate covers for the receptacles and the light switch. If you go with that route, be sure you get something that's approved for electricity. If you get just a regular plate cover that looks like wood, that's great, but it has to be protected or ready for electricity. So I have the cover here, but if you look on the back side, it does have a metal insert on it. So that's going to make it more safe, just in case there's a spark or something inside. It's not going to ignite the metal. If the spark gets on the wood, who knows. So just take care of yourself. Remember to set your boxes for your light switches and receptacles out far enough so that the items will be flush with the front of your siding. I fastened each piece as I went with finishing nails into the stud. I took a countersink punch and made sure they was flush as I went. It's easy to adjust how level they are as you put each piece up, the tongue and groove gives a little bit of variance between each joint, so that comes in handy sometimes. The joints that we have between pieces with the 45-degree angle cut on them just about disappears after you get them together. The junction between the two walls with the angle cut behind it came out pretty good, so I didn't have to put any strip or anything on it to hide the joint. It looked good the way it was. I gave everything one coat of polyurethane. This is a tongue and groove board, just like we use around the fireplace. The only difference is this has a torch finish to it. I burnt the wood with the torch, and then this has 2 coats of polyurethane on it. So that's what it looks like with a different finish on it. Something to think about: if you do this type of finish, the tongue that sticks up, you can't really see it most of the time. Here you can see a little bit. I adjusted for height to keep it level. But if that tongue is visible, sometimes the flame, the burn, won't get down in the very crease of that tongue where it comes off. So if that's the case, you'll have a white line that you're going to see across here. Before I put this up, I checked on each board. If it was going to show, I took a magic marker on this one. You can't tell that I did that, but I did took care of that white line across there with the magic marker, and it comes out pretty good. You can't tell the difference, and it hides that. It's just a trick of the trade if you happen to do this type of system. This is a golden oak finish with 2 coats of polyurethane. The last thing that I needed to do was stain the doors with the early American, and then after they dried, gave them both a coat of polyurethane as well. The camera doesn't do it justice, but this looks pretty good. The early American stain and 1 coat of polyurethane, it looks pretty good. So that's our take on putting in an accent wall. I think it made a big difference in the way this room looked. If you'd like to see how the fireplace was installed, check out the link at the end of this video. If you have any tips or tricks you'd like to share with people, leave it in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't, and ring that bell so you're notified the next time we have a video. Bye.